Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of We're the New Adults. Today, I have my beautiful mother.
Hello.
So, today, we're going to be talking about a mother's love. That's the name of this episode. To really just touch on just not only just mother and son love, but just mother and child love in general. So, without further ado, welcome to We're the New Adults. Say, welcome to We're the New Adults.
Welcome to We're the New Adults. I guess I'm the old adult.
Oh, exactly. You're an old adult. Not old, though. Not old. Episode 3, A Mother's Love. Did you expect this path from me as far as like videography, the whole journey that I've been on?
No, to be totally honest, I really thought you were going to be an athlete
Mm-hmm.
because of your involvement as a young child with athletics and stuff. But I guess there was a little touch of, I think it was a little guest spot you were on when you and your dad went to a play in Alexandria.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
they just picked you out and asked you to come and do a part or something because I
Right.
wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And so once y'all told me about that, I'm like, Then he thought about having you as a model.
Oh, I don't. It's on when I was a
You were
baby.
little.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you were a toddler.
Mm,
But he wanted to have you as a little model.
that's funny.
I guess he saw big things for you.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it wasn't until you started making those Instagram videos was when I'm like, okay, what's this all about?
Yeah.
And then once I started seeing all the followers, and then I had people stopping me in the store and coworkers and different people telling me about, oh, I saw your son. Oh, you did? But then I couldn't see it.
Oh yeah, you were
Yeah.
blocked for a long time.
Yes.
Only because some of the stuff I was making, it was like,
You just thought I wasn't gonna want to look
yeah,
at it.
and I was young, so
Yeah.
But honestly, I didn't see it for myself either. Like you said, I was playing sports pretty much all up until
12th grade.
12th grade. Yeah, whether it was starting out with baseball, did basketball, football, a little bit of track,
The
and
flag football.
flag football. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So me doing those sports, I really thought I used to say I wanted to be in the NFL.
Yeah.
That's what I used to say. But that just shows, obviously I'm glad you had me involved in all those things so that I could see what I like and what I gravitated to. But it's still just me growing up. Obviously, I gravitated to what I wanted to gravitate to.
And then thinking back on what you just touched on,
Hmm.
gravitating to, I remember at your elementary lab school,
Oh yeah,
you had a couple little parts,
plays. Yeah.
yeah, in the school little
Hmm.
musical play, and then at the middle lab, I think you had a part in something too that
Was
I
it a
remember
speaking
seeing.
role? I think it was a little speaking role with the
Yeah, I think it
sword.
was.
Mm.
Yeah. So, and then church stuff, involved in church. So you always had that. You weren't really shy,
Mm-hmm.
even though you were kind of, modest about it. But you were never really
Yeah.
shy. You were willing to, okay, I'll try it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to do that. And even though people didn't really want you to do it, they're like, no, he's too little. No, I don't think he can do that until you showed him
Prove
that you
them
could
wrong.
actually do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've been
So
doing that my whole life, proving people wrong.
yeah.
So I wanted to touch on just a little bit, or just however much, the birth of me,
Oh wow.
because obviously that was a
That was 2 weeks of my life that I don't remember really from except for other people telling me about it or what happened. But you were born 6 weeks early because my organs had started shutting down.
mm-hmm,
I hadn't eaten in 2 weeks. Your dad said we went to the doctor's appointment. She said nothing was wrong with me. I don't know why, but my mom started noticing something. So I thank God for my mom and a praying mother and someone that was keeping an eye on me
mm-hmm,
and your sister because she didn't want anything to happen to her mother and her
right,
little brother to be. And having her to keep being persistent and calling, saying something's wrong, something's wrong, something's wrong. She said that when she walked into my den and she tried to lift my arm, it just,
wow,
and she knew then something's not right. So she kept calling the obstetrician. And then
mm-hmm,
finally she said, get her to the hospital, let them run some lab work. They couldn't
mm,
because they couldn't get anything out of my arms. My blood was just like,
thick, yeah, I remember you said
and
that.
they ended up having to hurry up and take you out. Don't remember any of that. Remember, I can see flashes. And then stuff people told me that was at the hospital. I was told it was that you coded, I coded, and then they had to get an ambulance. They tried to get a helicopter to come, but they ended up sending an ambulance for you. So we were at two different hospitals. You were in the NICU there.
So did you get to hold me whenever?
No.
Wow.
I didn't even know you were born. My mom said by the time she and dad got to the hospital in Shreveport where they had taken me by ambulance, you were in one and I was in the other. She said when she got there, they had me in this big machine. And she asked the doctor, the man, the medical person, what are you doing? What are you doing? He said, her blood's like gook. It's like gook. She said it was filtering my blood, taking my blood out of my body, cleaning it, and putting it back in my body.
Oh my God.
I told my church member I saw the light. Well, I asked the nurse first, was there a window? There was no window in the ICU unit where I was after, that process. She said, there's no window, but I kept seeing a light. Another time I saw a light. So one of our church members, Breland Johnson, he came by to visit with me, and I said, I was seeing. He said, don't go to the light. Don't go to the light.
Please don't go to the light.
And it was like a big bright light that I kept seeing. My nurse, when I was in the ICU unit, she was crying about her dog, but I was out of it. And this was the first couple of days that I was in the ICU. It was like a medical ICU unit that they had me in, and she was crying about her dog. And so I guess it was a few days later, she came back to work, and she walked in, and I asked her how was her dog. And she said, you heard me. So that let me know that even though people are, I just said,
out of it.
Yeah, what I've said since that happened, and with people telling me what was going on, how they had anybody could come in to see me and you, and at the hospital when you were born before they transferred us because they thought I was gonna die and they thought you were gonna die, but especially me. And so everybody was just coming in. It didn't matter how many visitors; they just had it open.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that till afterwards. But I keep telling people God has you in a place when the scripture says he has you in his hands and nobody can take you out of his hands. It's like I was in this place for those 2 weeks or so, and he was just carrying me.
Wow.
I was going through the motions, and I knew my baby needed food. I knew you needed to eat, and your nourishment comes from me, and I wasn't eating anything. I was sucking the juice out of watermelon. I was eating ice, and I was drinking Ensure, trying to put something in me to take care of you. And that's what just really just enhanced my faith, my trust, everything. I always believed anyway, but it just increased that God is awesome. He still performs miracles. And I'm in the room and I'm like, whose baby? Sharon had put your pictures around in the room. I didn't even know. I thought you were still in here.
Wow.
And then they said, you don't know who that baby is? And I'm like, no. They said, that's your baby. And I'm like, mine? And I had all kinds of stuff hooked up to me, all kinds of stuff they had going through my system and whatever else. And it just was amazing that I'm like, my child is born and I don't even know my child. I didn't see you until you were 2 weeks old when you were released from the NIC unit. Dr. Elrod was your neonatal doctor. Nobody knew what your name was. You were just baby boy Caesar.
Wow.
So, and
my last name isn't even
Trevor.
Caesar.
His name is Trevor. But anyway, it was rough, and it took me 6 months to get myself through the grace of God, and my parents being supportive, family members being supportive, your sister being there, Paul being there to help because of the stuff that had to be done after I left the hospital, the medications I had to have, the diet I was on, you being so little, the little clothes. I didn't have any newborn clothes, and the little stuff, they said the Pampers and everything, the little bottle you had, it just... And so once they brought you to the hospital when you were released, that's when I saw you for the first time.
Wow. And
just like I did with your sister, even though I had her and saw her being delivered, still when they put the baby in your arms, you're still checking the fingers and the toes, and I just unwrapped you out of the blanket, and I'm looking at everything, trying to make sure my baby boy is okay,
all the way up,
Yeah.
Well, no, obviously that situation, it affected you, but I still look at that situation and know for a fact that God is real. It has built my faith, not only through that situation, but definitely starting off with me entering this world, Him already being so good in my life, in our life, you know.
He was protecting you.
He was protecting me.
He knew the plans he had for you and for me.
Yes. And it was like.
And it wasn't our time.
Nope. And a praying city. Like, it was like a lot of people.
Oh, people from not just our city.
Mm.
There was people from all over. They were sending cars. They was collecting money. It was just because they didn't know if the insurance was going to cover everything.
Wow.
By the grace of God and appeals, everything was covered.
Are
I didn't
you
have
joking?
to miss a paycheck. I had enough pay to keep me the 6 months I was out. Mama would bring my checkbook and I would just sign it. She was writing out the checks for bills.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, we didn't know if you had enough leave. I had leave when I came back.
Really?
Everybody
Really
was
grateful.
just so,
Yeah.
And people was like, we don't even know you, but we heard about what happened to you. And
Right.
we just was praying, this lady, her baby, we just.
Well, no, definitely was
An
situation,
experience.
An experience, yes. But we came out of it. Here we are today.
Yes.
I'm so grateful for you. Don't know what I would do without you in my life. Even to this day, just all your support and love that you give me, I appreciate it. And
I feel like God gave you were His gift to me. And after we went through all of that,
my gift.
I
also.
gifted you back to Him. I said, you gave Him to me for the time that you allow me to be His mom. But I'm putting Him in your care. And I'm giving Him back to you. Just like Hannah did with her son. It just... So I trust Him above anybody. He can do above what I can do.
Right.
As your mother, I try to protect you from as much as I can. But I'm limited. Your dad is limited. Your sister's limited. Granny and Paul, any other relative of ours, Grandma G, Papa Ted, everybody's limited. But God is not. So when you're not with me, I'm trusting Him. I'm not trusting TJ or Trevor.
Yeah.
Or your friends. I'm trusting God with you. When I go places, or I pray all the time for His protection. So I pray for our entire family, our extended families, our church family, our pastor, the mayor. I pray for everybody because I want our loved ones to be okay.
Yeah.
I know we can't make
Stop
that,
anything.
but God is the only one that knows. He's the author and finisher of our faith.
Right.
He's the beginning and the end. He's the only one that knows.
You always tell me to pray, let His will be done.
Yeah. We may not always like what His will is.
Right.
But He knows what's best for us.
Yeah.
And sometimes we think He's not moving fast enough for what it is we want in life.
Mm-hmm.
But, and your sister can tell you the same thing I told her. I said, wait. You got to wait on Him. Don't rush it. Wait on it. Just pray about it. Let it go. Leave it with Him. He's going to lay everything out. I said, and when it does happen, it may be 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever amount of time it is when He finally puts you where He wants you, because He's preparing the way. Preparing it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're wondering, why am I going through this?
Yep.
Those experiences help you for what it is, and then you look back and you're like, this was better than what I thought.
Right.
I was
it's
trying
always
to get.
better than what we did.
And that's what she told me. She said, Mama, you told me that.
Yeah. I was a good child for the most part, but I've definitely had my times in high school or even middle school where I was,
it kind of started in middle school.
I think it did start in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to say second grade when I wrote I turned the B into a D and I wrote the little teacher's note.
And then there was another phone call I got from Miss Bree Love, had you call me
that's the one I'm talking about.
No, this was about you and the little boy, what y'all did in the bathroom.
No, what did we do in the bathroom? I don't remember.
I think y'all peed on the wall or
something.
something.
Oh my God, Mama, I do not remember that. In second grade.
And you were crying when she made you call me, and I was at work, and I'm like, you did what?
Oh my God. That was the worst having to call you
I don't know
at
if
work.
y'all had a peeing contest on the wall.
I don't remember.
So y'all had to clean it.
God.
Yeah, y'all had to clean it. Y'all were like in second
grade,
maybe.
yeah. I had
second grade or third grade or something like that. You cried and cried because she made you call.
And then the letter grade, that whole stuff.
Yeah.
But no, high school was definitely, I don't know what happened in high school.
Then what was it, ninth grade with the
I think it
Andy's
started
coming.
with, I want to say ninth or 10th grade. Andy's coming. I had everybody in our atrium listen to my voice, sound my voice. It
Yes.
started on social media, and I was not originally supposed to be in charge of it. I wasn't. It was actually supposed to be someone else. And when the day came, the morning, everyone came in the atrium, and the guy was scared to do it. And so I think we said it at the same time, but I got on top of the table, and I was like, and so that's
See,
when
I didn't know you were on the table. The
they
principal just
showed
said,
me the
assistant
camera.
principal just said, we laughed about it, but it's not funny because we knew we had to do something about it because
Yeah.
it could have been a serious situation
Right.
because people could have got hurt if they panicked or something
Yes.
like that. He said, so we had to, we just couldn't let him get by with it. And I was like, I'm sitting there looking at the principal like, really?
Really?
He said,
Your
but
child.
we watched the tape. Yeah, we watched the tape. And he was laughing. The other
Yeah.
principal, the other assistant principal was laughing. I'm looking at them like, really?
It was funny. No, it was. But looking back, it
And
was
I'm
like
like,
stupid.
my child did that.
No, and you've done a great job raising me and everything. But it was just, yeah. And then, obviously the whole.
We don't want to talk about
We
that.
don't want to talk about that. But it was just a lot of things, no matter how much you did instill in me and the way that you pushed me to go, it was still, I had to learn on my own. So can you talk about being a parent, of a child, and having to have that balance of, okay, I'm doing the best that I can, raising the best that I can, but he's still not acting right. Do you have any advice to say to those mothers?
You weren't that bad, neither was
wasn't.
your sister.
I wasn't that bad. No.
Things that I did with her, then I kind of knew how to try to handle you.
So now I am a new adult, obviously. So I'm trying to figure this thing out. You've done an amazing job with just molding me into the young man I am today. So once again, thank you so much. But I know there is a lot of things that I'm doing as a new adult that are different.
Yes. Yes.
So if you can just touch on that just a little bit of having the balance of still being a mother and you're always there when I need advice and things like that, but still let me make my own decisions.
Yes.
Is that hard? Is that hard for you?
It's not really hard. The hard part is the new way to do things. It's still the same thing.
Right.
But because with each generation, it's the same thing. It's just a new way of doing things. Trying to make sure you knew everything I thought you needed to know. Sometimes I don't remember everything, like with your sister. There may have been things I missed. But the good thing that I'm grateful for is that we have a relationship where we can talk.
Yeah.
You can pick up the phone and call wherever you are, or text me and say, hey, Mom, or come in the room where I am if you're there. Your sister, the same thing. She'll call and say, hey, Mama, this, that, and so. Now, sometimes we get into this struggle about, well, you talking to him, but I need you. And you're like, well, Mama. So
Yeah.
you have to kind of figure out how to divide the time.
Mm-hmm.
But now with both of you being young adults, even though she's older than you, it's still the difference in where she is in life versus where you are.
Right.
And how she was at your age was totally different.
Mm-hmm.
So it's making me feel more at ease with you versus with her. But I trusted her judgment as far as to know how to budget and to take care of her bills and all that kind of stuff. And she was working and going to school just like you were working and going to school, but you were with me. She was out in an apartment.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of felt a little bit different about her as far as that part, stepping out into her own, because I said, okay, I know she knows how to pay her bills and the budget.
Yeah.
With you and them trips and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, now you getting ready to step out on your own.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to have to make sure you're budgeting, make sure your rent is paid, your utility bills is paid, you got food or whatever it is, you got gas, car insurance, whatever it is. That's my concern, is to make sure that you got that part. What's contained in that cup,
Then there's
you
no
can't
room
take
for
out
extra.
of it.
Yeah.
There's no room to stir to say,
Maybe a little pour.
No. But it makes me feel good when I see that you all have finished school, high school, college. It wouldn't have mattered if it was just high school, but had some type of skills or some training where you can get out and work and learn your job, do good at your job. Your sister's done good on all the jobs that she's had. The people like her. Your jobs that you've had, people are always still talking about, oh, we just love him. Where you are. I know wherever you go in life, whatever job you end up with, whether it's the stepping stone jobs, you're going to do good at it. The two of you I see have a lot of me as far as once we know what we're supposed to be doing, we're going to do it.
Right.
And we're going to do it to the best of our ability. And we're going to do it with ease. We're going to come up with a creative way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
We work smarter, not
Not harder.
That makes me feel good as a parent. Mm-hmm. And I hope your other two parents are happy about that as well. Because you can say, hey, okay, I did do something right.
Right. Pat yourself on the back.
I did do something right. And you all are the two best blessings that I have. And I thank God for both of you. And for enabling me to be able to try to bring you up the best way that I knew how. Mm-hmm. And I hope that everything that I have taught you and am still teaching you all, and when you ask me for my advice and I give it, whether you take it or not, I hope that it stays in the back of your mind. So when something comes up, you be like, oh, wait, Mama told me about that.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm hoping so.
No,
and remember that I always say, keep God first, pray.
And we're about to get into that as well. The importance of God.
My grandmother would take me to church with her, go to choir rehearsal with her. With Mom, it was Sunday school, vacation Bible school, BTU, usher meeting, choir rehearsal. It was all of that all the time for years, even as a young adult after I had your sister. That was just so instilled in me to where once I had her, I'm going to bring my child up this way. Then when I had you, I'm going to bring him up the same way. I kept y'all involved in church because I knew that some of the things that I had been done, places I had been, I knew something greater than my parents. Mm-hmm. This God that I learned to believe in at the age of 11 and get baptized, when they say you don't really know, but you accept it,
yeah.
As time goes on, you start understanding why people cry. You know, when they feel this, be like, what's wrong with those people? What's wrong with those grown people? You start to understand because you start developing that personal relationship. Mm-hmm. Because as you experience things, then you starting to see him at work.
Yep.
The places that I could have been with harm, I know it had to be an angel somewhere protecting me.
Same here.
And it's just things that have happened in my life that I know it was nobody but God that gave me the strength. When they say sometimes a person is able to, the adrenaline or something, you're able to lift a car or whatever it is. Me being able to lift a whole person, there was nobody but God or an angel helping to lift the person.
Yeah. Because
of a certain experience that I had, a bad experience. So those things that I have dealt with, accidents, being in a car hit and spun around in a car with my cousin. Nobody but God.
Nobody but God. Yeah.
It's just so many things where that, and it's just that faith in me is more important than anything else.
Yes.
Even on my jobs, I had a supervisor to say, oh, well, don't do that. Well, oh, don't say that. I said, if I feel like God is telling me to do that, or say that, I'm going to do it. Mm-hmm. Now, if you fire me,
he going to get you another job.
I'm not worried about it because I'm being obedient. Mm-hmm. Because I know who I trust. Just like I told you, when I trust God instead of you. Yeah. I trust God instead of me. Mm-hmm. So that is within me. And I pray that I don't believe anything would ever. I hope that nothing will ever. There is a joy I get from my relationship with Christ. It's a different type of joy that I can't get from anything else. Everything else is temporal.
Yes.
You know, you can go to a party, you can go to a birthday party, or you can go to something you want to see, a concert or whatever it is, and for a minute, you know, you're like, oh.
But it ends.
Even a taste of food or something you dessert, or you're like, oh, that tastes so good. But once you've eaten it, it's gone. It's gone. It's temporary. But that joy,
nobody can take away from you.
Nobody can steal that. Right. You know, so that's that part. That's why God is so important to me, and that's why I try to instill that in y'all and hope that you all on your own walk will continue on that path.
Of course, when we were going to Sunday school, Bible study, church, of course it's like I don't feel like going to church, you know, everything like that. But as I've gotten older, I've been grateful for those moments because now it's like I see what prayer can do. I see how God has moved in my life where, like you said, it could be nobody but God. It's been nobody but God that's got me here today, you know. So I appreciate you for that as well.
Yeah.
And I'm going to continue to be on this journey
And just
with
remember
Christ.
that even though you may make mistakes, make decisions, whether you know it's wrong or whether, you know, you don't really understand, God is a forgiving God. You have to keep striving towards that mark. Like the scripture says, sometimes you're going to miss that mark.
Yeah.
He knows that. He knows that none of us are perfect.
So I have to ask, are you proud of me?
Yes, I am. I am very proud of you.
And why?
I am proud of you because I see the young man that you are becoming. I see the progress that you have made in life, in your development, in your your choices, in your friendships, in your values, in your walk, and your dedication, especially when I see you mime. And people love to see you mime. And that's something you didn't have to keep doing. That's something you chose to do.
Yes, my ministry.
And still trying to figure out what Trevor wants to do and where Trevor wants to go. Okay, Trevor's trying to finish school. I'm trying to work, you know, friendship issues, family issues, being pulled in all different types of directions. And then you finally had to wake up and say, hey, because sometimes you have to put yourself first. And there's nothing wrong with putting yourself first.
I'm learning that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a struggle.
Sometimes you have to tune everything else out and have some you time. And when they say go to your secret place, you find your place. Like some people tell me, I just may run a bath and put some bubbles in there, and I may just sit there in the tub and just
relax.
And it's like this calm, this peacefulness comes over you, you know?
Yeah. Well, Mom, I appreciate you for coming on my podcast. I am proud of you as well.
Thank you.
You've grown so much, and I feel like you're finally putting yourself first after a long time.
Yes. No more raising kids.
Oh my God. I'm a new adult now. So
yes.
Thank y'all so much for tuning into this episode. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.
Yes. Bye.